Well, welcome to the unboxing of Archon Studios Caves expansion. So this has been about a year in the making for me. I pledged a minor pledge, which is pre-painted. Comes with one core set, and I went for Rocky Caves because I figured I'd get the most use out of that. 3 sub-themes, which is the Deep Mines, the Combat Arena, and the Evil Eye Hive, and 1 Cave Tiers, which is for adding some height. That cost me £237, plus £14 brokerage fees, and Archon refunded the tax on that, which was around £40. So it's cost me around about £200 this set. So let's break into this and see what we've got. And by the way, it was delivered from Pila in Poland, which is where Archon is based, by UPS, which I've never had stuff delivered by UPS before. And to be honest, other than it being 1 day late, I can't really fault them so far. So first thoughts are, this is well packaged. Have a look. Oh, and already I can see the pre-painted components here, and that doesn't look too bad. So if I can get my cameraman to look at that there, we can see that actually it's to a really nice standard. And I mean, if you're a regular painter yourself, you probably could do a better job if you're reasonably skilled, but I can't really fault that. The rust looks like rust. The little skulls are nice and white there. You know, the columns, the stone columns look nice. And that is the combat arena. So let's actually get inside that so we can have a proper look. So if you haven't seen the system before, if you look at the bottom of these, you put the little clips on these to join them together, and you can also then stick walls on the side of those. The walls, in this case, these bits, and they've got these curved walls for the first time. You've got these little stems here, and those go into the sides. So, you know, you'd have that sort of configuration, and these would go together like that. So my first thoughts are, this is actually really nice. This is the first time I bought anything pre-painted, and straight out of the box you've got little things like blood spatters there. And yeah, okay, I probably will add a little bit of touching up with this, but that's just because I'm a bit finicky. You know, I'm used to painting things a certain way. But the fact that I can clip this out and I can start using it in my D&D sessions is incredibly exciting for me. So these are the clips that you'll be using. So these go in there. You have the stems coming up there. Right, onwards, more exciting things. So you get stretch goals with these things, and this is a big part of why you'd bother to pledge rather than waiting for retail. So we have the Baylor, and this guy is a big demon. I've seen some people paint this guy up, and he's chunky. He's a big chunky boy, he is. And you can have a flaming sword or a whip. We have, oop, running out of room already. We have here, this is more stretch goals, or is this, ooh, that might be focal points. So here you've got things like double doors, you've got ramps, you've got bridges, you've got the little pit traps. You know, you can do your own kind of Lord of the Rings thing with things dropping down the well and swarms of goblins coming. So here we've got, oh, it's Gervasi the Etten. Okay, that's surprising actually, because you can see that there's all the components for Gervasi there, but it's really light and very nicely laid out. So he's going to be a lot of fun to put together, because I was assuming he'd be like one big piece. What else we got? We have Elder Brain, we've got the Baylor Gate, we've got the Spider Matriarch, we've got the Dwarven Train. The Dwarven Train, the Chugga Chugga Choo Choo, that would be fun to put together. I think some of the components for that actually move, unless I'm mistaken. Or it might be the little tracks that move. Right, what else we got in here? So that must be the core caves. We get that in, looks like 2 boxes there. And again, that looks very nice. I am going to open up one of those boxes just to show you some of that. If I can find my little slicer. Alright, there's so much stuff in here that I'm rapidly running out of room. Alright, so, ooh, look at that. That's not bad, is it? That's not bad. There's even a little bit of teal in there. Again, you know, like, if I was painting this myself, then, you know, I probably would have gone for a little bit more detail in there. But for something that's been sprayed by a machine, this is really nice. And it looks pretty solid as well. I'm scratching that with my nail, and yeah, that's really nicely varnished. Got like a nice smell to it as well, actually. Oh, that's nice. So again, it's not so much that the detail's incredible, but the colour scheme's really nice. It's kind of muted natural colours here. And I'd be really happy to have this on my gaming table. And I think my players will as well, because sometimes you can spend absolutely ages making scenery look perfect, you know, and you've got all these little details in there. But the guys who are playing, their attention normally isn't on that anyway, it's normally on the characters. But that's really nice. Let's get a few more pieces out. Oh, I can see something already, a nice little detail here. Can you see? It's got the little Prismacast logo there, an Archon there, sprayed on the back. And for me, this is wizardry. Oh look, little skeleton. So that looks as though it just lies on top of some other scenery. I'll have to look that up. Some of this, it's like corner pieces. So when you cut that out, it's going to be two separate bits there. Right, so that's the caves. Let's go on to another bit now. You're probably going to hear a clatter in a minute as some of this starts dropping on the floor, but I make these sacrifices for you, the viewer. Right, so this is some more stretch goals, and you can see from here we've got dwarves. We've got the Dwarven King there, we've got sarcophagi, we've got cooking stoves, we've got the tavern barrel tap there, we've got mining carts, mushrooms, angels. That's going to be a lot of fun to go through. So again, let's just very quickly tear this open. Now before this arrived, I did clear some cupboard space, and it's a good job I did, because I think if this was all left lying out when the missus got home, she wouldn't be best pleased at all this stuff. Right. Look at that. Those fungi are lovely. You've got all these roots here, and a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all goes together. Some of it you can see it slots into the base. Some of it, I don't know whether it just sits on top or whether you glue that in. And Archon are pretty good with their instructions. You scan the QR codes and it takes you straight to their site. But you've got all these lovely banners. And for me, this is kind of on a par with Games Workshop stuff. You know, the detail's really nice there. It's not like for example, some of the WizKids stuff where you're trying to paint it and you're trying to work out where the detail is. Here it's really nicely sculpted. You can see exactly what things are supposed to be. Lovely stuff. And some of it's Prismacast. Look at that. So again, you've got the some of the traps there. So we've got some kind of buzzsaw thing going there. We've got a swinging axe. Got some bridges there. Lovely. And we have had some people on the forums, I've noticed, saying that there's some misalignment, and I can just about see some misalignment there. Kind of gives that weird kind of blurry 3D effect. But so far I haven't seen anything that makes me think, oh, I got to send that back. It's all been really nice so far. Got some coloured plastic there as well. This is what? Ice elements? Water elements? Very nice. Okay, put that to one side. Bright red, what's this? Ah, Belly of the Beast. So you got the three sub-themes. You got like the demonic stuff, Belly of the Beast, and the normal Rocky Caves, which is what I mostly went for. This is Evil Eye. I thought it'd be fun to have a little bit of Belly of the Beast. And again, I've lost my cutter. Honestly, I'm so disorganized. Ah, okay, this is already slightly open. That's good. So the red plastic is because the idea with this is I think it's organic. I think if you went for something like the Carnage track, that was supposed to be inside the Tarrasque perhaps. But this, I thought, Evil Eye, kind of like Baldur's Gate, where you find where the beholder is. And look, that's suitably disgusting, isn't it? That's going to be a lot of fun to have my players wading through that, thinking, what have I got myself into? And then have some spectators or beholders or some kind of horrendous abomination meet them around the corner. But again, I don't think I'm going to have to do anything to this. I think once it's clipped out, then I'm quite happy to play with this. And that was from the other stuff. Then we've got the deep mines here. So the deep mines, I suppose this is, rather than the surface mines, this is where the dwarves have maybe dug too deep. But where you start to find gemstones and things. I've got to make sure I don't get all this mixed up. But again, look at that. That's nice. It wouldn't win you any competitions, but for just playing, that is more than adequate. And this, I think this is part of a center enclave. You have a couple of those that go together back to back to make like a little hill in the middle. The crystals, lovely purple crystals. So it's not like they've just gone, okay, you get one set of crystals and we're done. They thought, you know, let's give them a couple of different shades of crystal. The gold, I might find myself going back and just putting a little bit of sparkle on that, especially where you've got maybe these scattered coins. I'd want those to maybe stand out a bit more. But again, out of the box, you can just play. And don't get me wrong, I love painting. I love making my own stuff. I love doing all of that, but you only have so many hours in the day. And sometimes, especially lately, I've been thinking, I'm getting all this scenery because I really want to use this with my current D&D group. But by the time I get around to painting it all and getting it on the table, are we still going to be playing? Am I going to get to use everything? Whilst with this, straight away it's like, okay, I've got it, I'm going to use it. And I'm already thinking of excuses to get the guys underground now. Get them encountering some of this stuff. Okay, I'm going a lot faster than I normally would here because I don't want to bore you guys too much. There we go. So this, I think, is where I can add extra levels. I can go upwards and rather than it all being just flat on the table, I can add in an extra layer. Again, I'd probably only do that for small bits. You wouldn't want it kind of being all bendy and... But I don't know, maybe I'll use that and find that it's nice and secure. Then the last thing in here, we have the train set. So you saw the engine earlier on. Here we've got the tracks themselves, and I think that centerpiece turns. And we've got some water there. Or it could be, I don't know, I could paint it to be like ice if I wanted to. The see-through stuff, I had the sewers set as well. I found that it it's kind of hard to paint it so that you still get to keep that transparency. So in the end, I ended up just painting over it. But I've seen people just use it straight out of the box, and you can immediately tell what it is anyway. So I'll have to think long and hard about how I best use that. Again, maybe you guys have some ideas for that. You can comment and say, okay, you know, I've got some see-through stuff, and this is how I've managed to get it looking nice. So I'd be really grateful to hear any tips you have there. Right, and that looks like I've got to the bottom of the box. So we'll leave it there, but thank you very much for sharing this unboxing with me. I'm very excited. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to play with. So I hope that's been informative for you guys. But yeah, I would do it. In fact, I've signed up for another Kickstarter. Well, it's not a Kickstarter now, it's GameFound with Archon. I've done the Pirates set next. I've only done the Bazaar on that one. But it's all been delivered. It's all been pretty much to schedule. Okay, in the UK it was a month or two late. That was down mainly to Brexit and some other factors which I think are beyond Archon's control. But I would thoroughly recommend them. I've used Archon products for a while now, and to be honest, they're my go-to. They've just got that right balance between cost and quality. Well, thank you very much, and have a good day. Thanks for viewing.